Hi, my name is Kerry MacGregor and I'm a co-author of the Ice Chip series for kids. It's a hockey series where the kids travel through time. And it's written by me, Kerry MacGregor, and Roy MacGregor, who's my father, and illustrated by the amazing Kim Smith and published by Harper Collins. Kim, Roy and I are all Canadian, but I happen to be in France where I live, and I'm in the back garden because we're actually not allowed to leave the house at this time. So I was thinking that I would do some readings to help parents who have kids at home, or to help entertain your kids if they're looking for something to do, as I know mine are. This book here, The Ice Chips and the Haunted Hurricane, is book number 2 in the series. And the way that the series works is some of the kids on the hockey team have found a special ice resurfacing machine that somehow opens a portal in the ice. And when they travel across the center line, they get sent through space and time. They go back into the past and they meet famous hockey players. But they meet these famous hockey players back when they were children. And when they first land, they have no idea where they are, especially because this is the second book, so this is only their second leap, and it's very confusing, very disorienting, the leaps that they have. So they don't know where they are, but they gradually find out. And in this one, they've landed somewhere, and you'll find out where in a second. Chapter 1, Location Unknown. Blackness, as thick as soup. And it was rocking. The darkness was moving. In front of Lucas Finnegan's eyes danced a greenish blur, as if he'd been staring at a bright white surface just before the lights went out, just before he'd been sucked into this. Night? Is this night? Lucas moved his head to shake away the darkness, to free his eyes, but the darkness didn't move. It clung to him like a damp face cloth. Where am I? Do you smell that? Nika Bertrand's voice was shaky. Lucas couldn't see her, the goalie who he knew better as Swift, but he knew she was close. Is it dirt? The smell, mud or something? Lucas slid his hand across the floor until he touched Swift's. Once she felt his hand, she gripped it tightly. How could we have been so stupid to try this again? It's salt, Ekhamjit Singh said slowly. Lucas's best friend, and the teammate he called Edge, was somewhere in front of Lucas and Swift. Somewhere in the blackness. The air smells like the ocean. The ocean? Lucas brought his hands to his moist cheeks. He closed his eyes tightly and opened them up again. Slowly, they were starting to adjust to the darkness. His sluggish brain was unscrambling too. Scratch had resurfaced the rink with his magical flood, just like last time, and the 3 ice chips had stepped out onto the ice. We skated hard and fast. We hit the center line. And then, just like last time, Lucas, Edge, and Swift had leapt through time. Now they were, well, they could be anywhere, really. We're moving, Swift said. Lucas looked up and saw the outline of a small round window. Through it he could see a smudge of light, all on its own in the dark sky, like the only street lamp in a city gone black. The moon. We're on a boat! Try Crunch! Lucas whispered, remembering their plan. If they could reach Sebastian Strong, the defenseman they'd nicknamed Crunch, because he was so nuts about numbers, they'd be okay. Crunch had stayed behind at the rink with his tablet, and with his help they might be able to figure out where they were and what year they'd landed in. Edge's comm band walkie-talkie crackled to life, but when he said 12 into it, Crunch's number, no one answered. Either their comm bands weren't working or Crunch was just too far away. "Zilchonada," said Edge, using one of his made-up words to hide his disappointment. "No Crunch." "We're alone out here," said Swift, seeming even more tense than before. She began taking off her skates and searching the floor with her hands. She was trying to find her backpack. For this leap, their second one, all 3 ice chips had brought backpacks, and they'd all brought boots to change into. This time, they'd come prepared. At least they thought they had. "We can't call home, but we can't be completely alone out here," Lucas said, trying to be encouraging. He hurried into his second boot, slipping into his sock a jackknife he'd packed, just in case, before zipping up his bag. The wind coming through the cracks in the small room had gotten colder. It was as though the air and everything in it had become electric. Was there a storm coming? "Of course we're not alone. Someone has to be steering the boat," Edge started. But suddenly the boat pitched sideways, throwing Lucas and his teammates with it. It had lurched to the left as if it had been taken by a wave and was about to keel over. Edge, who'd been standing, slammed against a wall, or a door maybe, just as a handful of life jackets and fishing nets rained down onto Lucas and Swift's heads. Luke gripped Swift's hockey jersey with one hand and planted his other on the floor to keep from sliding sideways. The boat tried to right itself, but instead it pitched hard in the other direction. "Ah!" Swift called as she rolled backwards. "Cover your heads!" Edge shouted. A fishing pole detached from the wall and fell with a bang. A heavy utility box slid across the floor, just missing Swift's prosthetic leg. Bzz, tsh, zzz. It was Edge's comm band. "Hello? Shh! Hello? Is somebody? Psh, psh, are you in trouble? Shh! Hello?" The voice was fuzzy, unsure, and words were dropping out of the signal. It wasn't Crunch. So who? "It's a kid," said Lucas, pushing a life jacket off his head and staring at Edge's comm. He realized that a dim light was now flooding the box-like room they were in. The sun was coming up. The door that Edge had banged up against had swung open, and now they could see the mess of life jackets and fishing nets that had tumbled all around them. "Wait, this boat isn't going to..." Edge didn't want to finish the sentence. He didn't have to. The boat pitched left again, and the ice chips tried to grab onto whatever they could. A storm wasn't coming. It was here, and it was huge. Through the open door, Lucas could see dark waves rising, threatening. They were trying to pull the boat under. Should we call for help? Blow whistles? Fire a flare gun? Lucas pulled on a life jacket and scrambled for the buckle, just as another huge wave hit. This time, the 3 ice chips went flying towards some storage shelves. Luckily, they were all still wearing their hockey helmets. "Hello, pshh, hello!" The young static-filled voice called out over Edge's comm band. Edge lifted his wrist up to his mouth, but then stared blankly at Lucas. What could he say to help them? "We've got to get to the steering wheel," cried Swift, trying to be heard above the violent wind that was whipping against the side of the boat. Sharp raindrops were now flying in through the open door in sheets. "We've reached a kid," thought Lucas. "But who is he? And where is he?" "Be careful! Psh, psh, psh. There's a hurricane psh, psh, coming, and it's psh, psh." The voice continued over the comm band. "The kid, if he can hear us," Edge yelled. "He can get help." "See, we aren't alone," Lucas called to Swift. "Of course you're not," boomed a gruff voice, just as the light pouring into the storage room went out. So that is the second book in the Ice Chip series by me, Kerry MacGregor, and my father, Roy MacGregor, illustrated by Kim Smith and published by Harper Collins, Canada. Book number 2, The Ice Chips and the Haunted Hurricane, and that was the first chapter. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that everyone is comfortable and happy at home. Thank you. Bye.